Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the video. Thank you so much for the interest and the support. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to jump right into it. I just got off work, so you're going to hear the road noise, so on and so forth. But here's the deal. Basically, I'm being harassed by my boss, okay? And I'm going to tell you the situation and what I'm dealing with and what I'm doing to not only combat it, but to deal with it, because you might be going through the same situation. So here's the deal. So I work for the power company, and we have a call-out system in place, right? So that if you get called out, they need you for trouble to hook somebody's power up. You go in. It runs by a list. This list stays static for 2 weeks. Then it rotates depending on how many numbers of calls you've gotten. Regardless of how many you've accepted, it just goes on the number of calls that you have gotten the chance to come in on. So you have to maintain 30% to keep your job. So this past year, I was at 33%. All right, and I'll explain the situation. So I put myself on not the primary list, but the secondary list, called the B list. I can still get called, but I'm always last if I'm the only one on that list. It's discouraged for people to be on the list if you, hold on one second, if you want to get promoted. Now, I've gotten promoted. I'm a lineman already, so everything's, done deal, whatever. But I've been on the B list for about 4 to 5 weeks now, okay? End of the year at 33%. Now, where I'm being harassed is that it's highly frowned upon by management to be on that list, okay? But they can't do anything to you, okay? They can't do anything to you at all. It's the option. Now, I've got serious things going on in my life right now. I've got, I want to focus a lot on this project, the channel, everything like that. Got a couple projects in the works. I have a relationship now. I'm in a relationship now that just far better. I want to enjoy life. I don't want to be at work. Last year, in 2017, I worked like 70 calls. So I was called in the middle of the night or right after work 70 times, and I came in. May not sound like a lot, but just to put it in perspective, I worked 468 hours of overtime that year. Okay? So put that into perspective. So some of the call outs that I stayed after for, I didn't even get. Like, I didn't even get credit for. In the computer, it only said that I did 70. But I just want to enjoy life, right? I got some stuff going on. I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy the relationship that I'm in. I want to build memories, right? Because this world, while it's based around money, money is not happiness. Money is not everything, right? So, and that's where I stand, right? So I put myself on the B list. I didn't want to have to worry about getting called in. Even though I've gotten calls, I didn't accept many of them after being on that list. And now I'm sitting in the situation that I'm sitting in now, where I haven't pulled myself off that list, and now I'm getting harassed. And maybe I'll put like an anchor to this part, so 4 minutes, 15 seconds in, that's where I actually start talking about it. But basically, now that I'm on the B list, I'm being harassed by my boss for the fact that I need to get off the B list, right? I have to supposedly be off the B list before I go back to do any more training, which is not true. Not true at all. I've heard this multiple times from in front of the entire shop. 100 so people. Today was the final straw, right? I'm a part of a union, right? The electricians unit, the IBEW. And I called up the union rep, and I was like, look, this is what's happening. This has happened countless times where I'm always getting called out for this, even though it's not their business. I don't need to explain myself in front of people. When he comes up and he asks, hey, how was your weekend considering you're on the B list and didn't get called in? I hope you had a great weekend. Or, oh, you can't stay late? Why can't you stay late? I know you're on the B list, but why? It's not any of their business. That's management. We're union. We're craft. They're management. It's two separate entities of the company, which should never mesh, right? I don't disclose any of my personal information to anybody at my job. They don't even know I've started this YouTube channel. They don't know any of my life. I keep my life in my work life completely separate, which I would recommend you do the same. It keeps me out of a lot of trouble. Now, I have made the mistake of meshing the two together, and that didn't end too well, so I don't recommend doing that. If you can balance those two well, that's fine. I like to stay professional when I'm at work. I like to have a good time when I'm not. So anyway, so what I had to do, essentially, was instead of getting harassed every day about what I'm doing every evening instead of working, is I called up the union rep. I told him the situation. And he's going to the upper management, and they're going to deal with the issue. Now, this has bothered me all day, right? Like, why my boss was gone for like a week and a half. Work was great. Didn't have an issue. It was good. The second he comes back, 6:45 in the morning, boom. It's the new, hey, Roland, it's the new year. Are you back on the top of the list? I said, no. And he said, well, I can't have a lineman on the B list when you go back down to Richmond for training, which is complete BS. And this is eating at me today. But this is how I'm mentally dealing with it, okay? Because you might have a very difficult boss or a difficult coworker. Now, mind you, if they're so interested in your life and what you do instead of working, their life is boring, right? Some people live to work, right? Some people make it their life to work. I could care less about the people that I work with, honestly. It's not that I could care less. I could care less what they do outside of work. I don't want to see them pass away, but I don't care what the hell they do outside of work. It doesn't affect me. And that's what kind of gets me through. It's like, number one, I'm better than these people, right? Number two, all that they live for is working and going to work and, living for dominion power. And that's just not me at all. So I recommend that you do the same, okay? And rest assured that if your situation at your job is to a point where you're bringing that stuff home with you, you need to look for a different job. What I need to do is not look for a different job. I need to look for a different office. The office that I'm in is horrible. It's terrible, man. The people that work there are so close-minded. They're just horrible. But anyway, folks, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. If any of y'all going through the same kind of situation, hey, just bear in mind, if you got to call HR, call HR. If you've got to find a different job, find a different job. Anything that makes you happier, because that's all that life's really about, is being happy. Anyway, folks, like I said, like me on Instagram, Facebook at Conquer Life Now, and bookmark my webpage, conquerlife.net. I'll catch you guys in the next one.